Today, we're going to tear down one of the most famous, most recognizable pieces of engineering in the world. And I mean, forget what you think you know from movies and video games. We are going to find out how an AK-47 really works, from the inside out. You know, you see it in every action movie. The hero grabs the rifle and it's just point and shoot. Simple. But while it might look easy on screen, the mechanical ballet that's happening inside this thing, oh, it's anything but simple. Because in reality, before any of that Hollywood action can even begin, you, the user, have to get the rifle ready to go. This isn't magic, you know, it's a machine. And like any machine, it needs to be prepped for the job. And that prep boils down to 3 really important steps. First up, you insert that magazine. Second, you grab the charging handle, pull it all the way back, and just let it fly forward. That one move is what loads the very first round into the chamber. And third, you gotta move that big selector lever down from the top, safe position. And just like that, now you're ready to go. Okay, so the rifle is ready. Let's dive into that first incredible chain reaction. What is actually happening inside the weapon in that split second you pull the trigger for a single shot? So before we watch it all unfold, let's meet the main players for this part of the show. You've got the hammer, which is loaded with a powerful spring to provide all the force. You've got the firing pin, which basically acts like a tiny high-speed chisel. And for now, we've got this little piece called the disconnector. It's small, but it's absolutely critical for controlling single-shot firing. And here's how it all goes down. The moment you pull that trigger, it releases the hammer. The hammer slams forward, striking the back of the firing pin. That pin then shoots forward and hits the primer on the back of the cartridge. That single impact creates a spark, which ignites all the propellant packed inside the casing, creating a very, very controlled explosion. That ignition creates this massive buildup of high-pressure gas. All that force has nowhere to go but forward, and it launches the bullet down the barrel at over 2,300 feet per second. It's incredibly fast. But the real genius here isn't just in firing the bullet. It's what it does with the energy from that explosion. This is the absolute genius of the design. The rifle doesn't just waste all that power. No, it cleverly siphons off a tiny amount of that same high-pressure gas through a little port near the end of the barrel. And it uses that gas to power its own reloading mechanism. And that redirected gas, well, that brings us to the most brilliant part of this entire design, the automatic reloading cycle. This is the real heart of the AK-47. It's where the rifle uses the energy from the shot you just fired to instantly get ready for the next one. Now, the hero of this whole process is a part called the bolt carrier. As it's thrown backward by that diverted gas, it has 3 critical jobs to do, all in a fraction of a second. So let's break them down one by one. Job number 1, as that bolt carrier is flying backward, it forces the hammer back down into its cocked position. Now, since we're in semi-automatic mode, that little part we talked about earlier, the disconnector, it reaches up and catches the hammer, holding it there, just waiting for you to pull the trigger again. Okay, at the exact same time, it's doing job number 2. There's a little claw on the bolt called an extractor. It has a grip on the now empty cartridge casing, and it pulls it straight out of the chamber. As it moves back, the casing hits a fixed point called the ejector, which just violently kicks that spent casing out the side of the rifle. And finally, job 3 completes the loop. With the old casing gone, a really powerful spring shoves the entire bolt carrier forward again. On its way, it strips the next live round from the top of the magazine, pushes it right into the chamber, and locks itself in place. The entire reloading cycle is done. The rifle is ready to fire again. And all of that happened in the blink of an eye. So that whole incredible cycle explains a single shot. But what about the AK-47's famous full auto mode, right? Well, the difference between one shot and 600 shots a minute, it all comes down to this one simple lever, the selector switch. So here's the crucial thing. It's all about what happens after that first shot if you keep the trigger held down. In semi-auto, we know that the disconnector grabs the hammer. It's a stopgap. It forces you to release the trigger and pull it again for every single shot. And this, right here, is where the design gets so elegant, so clever. When you flip that selector switch all the way down to full auto, it does 2 very simple things. First, as you can see, it physically blocks the disconnector, just pushes it right out of the way so it can't do its job. And second, it brings a brand new part into the action, the auto sear. So here's the full auto loop. With the disconnector blocked, the hammer is now caught by the auto sear instead, but only for a split second. Because as the bolt carrier finishes its trip and comes all the way forward, it trips that auto sear, which instantly releases the hammer, firing the next round. And as long as you hold that trigger down, this cycle will just repeat itself, over and over and over. I mean, when you really step back and you see all of these different parts working together in this perfect, violent harmony, you just have to appreciate the raw ingenuity of it. It's a self-powering mechanical engine that fits in your hands. This whole mechanism, which is famous for being unbelievably reliable and simple, even in the absolute worst conditions imaginable, it's a testament to what the source material calls the out-of-the-box thinking of its designer. This is a machine that prioritizes dependable, rugged function above absolutely everything else. And that brings us to a final thought, really. Our world is just filled with these mechanical masterpieces, you know? From the engine that's in your car to the simple watch on your wrist. It just makes you wonder, what other ingenious devices are hiding out there in plain sight, just waiting for us to stop and appreciate how they really work?